The Hurricanes probably are in the locker room feeling they tied the game with less than 2 minutes to go. Here's why they did not. Rule 69.1, and I'm just going to read one portion here. The overriding rationale of this rule, a goalkeeper should have the ability to move freely within his goal crease without being hindered by the actions of an attacking player. If he enters the goal crease and by his actions impairs the goaltender's ability to defend his goal, then the goal will be disallowed. To the point here, guys, it doesn't have to be a lot. Even if it's subtle, as the rule reads, it's no goal.
Yeah, and that's what, Dano, we were talking about, that it was, like, to us, you know, when we played, this is nothing. This should be a goal. There's really very little contact, but Williams skates into the blue paint on his own. He's not pushed in, he's not guided in, and he makes contact. It is what it is. Doesn't matter how much or how little it is. That's what the NHL is saying.
There's no leeway, no discrepancy. If it's a smidgen, he makes contact or makes a lot of contact with the goaltender, right, Bryce? I guess that's the way they call it. And Blackwood has to have an opportunity to move freely, like you mentioned in that rule, Kanji. He couldn't quite get across completely. Don't know if he would have stopped it anyway. It was a great shot, so we're not denying that by Teravainen. Devils get a break, you consider, even though the rule is exactly what it says, and I think it's the right call. But it's about time they had some breaks go their way. I'm sorry, because everything has gone against them this season in a lot of areas.
All right, we've got about 16,000 fans leaving here right now, wondering what are we looking at in Mackenzie Blackwood, who will have more rest from Monday than he had going into today. It's 2 full days because today was an afternoon start. But back-to-back wins now, and confidence building, it seems, with every sequence.
Yes, and what I really liked about him, Kanji, and you even alluded to it, was his rebound management. He was deflecting pucks out of play to give their guys a rest. This save here, he was going wide, but he knew that the guys that were on the ice needed a rest. So at this age, already to be managing the game as he is, freezing the puck. We heard a lot of whistles, and especially against Carolina, which we know generates a lot of high-danger scoring chances. Their 5-on-5 play, they get the puck on the net all the time, and he just squashed it with a lot of timely saves and controlling the rebounds.
He either kicks it into the stands, as we've seen the last couple of games, Bryce, or seems to gobble it up. The puck seems to deaden. I don't know if there's an art to that for a goaltender, but he has been very good at controlling his rebounds or kicking them right out of play, which slows momentum for the other team when they're pressuring in their zone. But I just liked his poise, finding pucks through traffic thus far in the short sample size we've seen from Mackenzie Blackwood. But boy, he's getting better and better. He was terrific this afternoon, Bryce, and made some big saves. We always talk about big saves at the right time. This is spectacular. Getting across here on Aho. You think they've got the tying goal on the power play in the third there, late in the third, but Blackwood somehow gets across. He's shown a lot of athleticism. Not much to not like about his game right now.
Mackenzie Blackwood is a goaltender with 2 wins under his belt in 3 National Hockey League starts. Look at the save percentage, guys. That's now .956. He's seen 126 shots as a starting and relieving goaltender, and he stopped 120 of them. Now, the reason he's a winner today is because Pavel Zacha, for the longest time, had the game's only goal, and it was a shorthanded goal. That stint in Binghamton earlier this year, that seems like a very long time ago. What do you like about his game, Bryce?
Well, just the confidence. You're seeing him take the puck and drive, be a driver out there, and he's beating guys, strong individual effort, but when he's on the penalty kill, he's making smart plays. And just the last 2 games, everything he's doing right now is because he's in the hard areas. He's back checking, he's playing smart. He hasn't necessarily changed anything in his game other than the tenacity, right? You see him wanting to be a difference maker. Not necessarily saying that he didn't want to before, but he's doing it, he's getting it done. And when he's getting the opportunity to make a difference in terms of a breakaway, he's finishing it. And so those timely goals, Dano, is a difference of why he's also starting to elevate the game, because he's having some success as well.
Look, when he came back from Binghamton, he got on that goal-scoring streak and he was producing offense. And then again, I thought he went into a little bit of a lull again, and that's something you'll talk about with young players. You got to show consistency. Well, now he's back on the top of his game, scoring some goals. No, he's still not picking up many assists, but he's making plays all over the ice and doing a terrific job in the PK, which is just as important in winning hockey games. And then he scores the big goal time. But I agree with you. It's having that effort shift by shift and game by game, not just having 2 good games, Bryce, and then all of a sudden a real letdown of energy kind of thing. I think that's what you're kind of alluding to. You've seen a lot of that in the last couple games, haven't we?
Yeah, to sum it all up, it's the energy, it's the speed. Falk's a fast guy. He goes right around him, knows exactly what he wants to do on this play, but stays with it. That's a highlight reel. To stay with that rebound and know that in a split second, I got to get that up. Like, that's the skill that he has, and it's nice to see it go in for him now.
Second straight game, he is the Devils' leader in shots on goal. Today, Kyle Palmieri also had 4 to share the team lead in that department. Bratt and Wood with 3 in a 2-0 victory this afternoon over Carolina. Everybody wants to have a lot of shots. Putting yourself in position to have those shots is an entirely different thing, and we're seeing that now from Zacha. So, consecutive wins, a chance to close this out on Monday, the calendar year anyway, with a real good feeling as you embark on a 4-game road trip. You even get it in the interviews that Mackenzie did with Bryce. He's very hesitant to put cart ahead of the horse. He's just trying to live in the moment, which I like. But I think everybody's wondering, is he taking the net here, too? And I guess that's to be determined, guys.
Bryce, going to be interesting. He certainly continues to earn opportunities to play, and you need 2 goaltenders to win hockey games for you, accumulate points. Keith Kincaid's done a terrific job at that since halfway through last year into this year, but you've got to get help along the way.
Yeah.
And that pushes each other now, right? Mackenzie Blackwood's come in. I always use short sample size. I don't like to get too giddy about a young goaltender yet either, or a player that scores consecutive games getting called up from the minors if you're a forward or whatever it may be. And I think he's handling it the right way. He's taking it in stride because he knows you can't get too high, too low. Things are going well right now, but he wants to stay in that moment and stay focused the way he has been, because his focus has been razor sharp from what I've seen.
Yes, and I think you do go with him against Vancouver just because he's feeling good. The team's playing well in front of him. And it's not to say that Keith doesn't just, is done by any means. Keith has had an excellent year, starting if you go back to last December.
Right.
The Devils rode him into the playoffs. He made timely saves, won them games, and this is really the first time that as being the number 1 that he's had to face some adversity. It's not always going to be, cakewalk. And so, look, he had some, some tough home games. He's been relieved a few, forward of his last 5 starts at home. So, look, he's having a little break. He's watching some action. But Mackenzie, you can't, like you said, Daniel, you can't say, hey, you're just going to ride him into the sunset. Oh. He's got a small sample set. He's doing exactly what the Devils need him to do. Help us win some games right now.
Give your team a chance to win. And what does that mean? We hear that a lot. That means a timely save. It's not always about making 45 saves and stealing a hockey game. It's in a 0-0 game, making a breakaway save, making a couple of big saves in the high slot on Bergeron in Boston the other night. Keeping it 0-0 changes complexion of a game when you get that first one. Allowed the Devils to go get that first goal. Again, here up 1-0, makes some sparkling saves to preserve the victory. So he's done a lot of good things, but I've loved his attitude. We pay attention to those interviews, and you can see he's taking it in stride. He's not getting up here right now and saying, oh, man, I'm doing great, because when you let your guard down, that's when things unravel, and he knows that, and he seems well aware for a young goaltender.